more caffeinated, and all of that good stuff. I am super thrilled and excited to now welcome to our stage Sangeeta Ramakrishnan. She is the Senior Director of AI Engineering at Cisco. She's going to come up and do a quick talk on nonlinear careers in an AI-transformed industry. Please join me in giving me a very warm welcome to Sangeeta. Thank you so much. All right.
Good morning, folks. I'm thrilled to be here. Thanks, Tammy, for having me. Looks like a wonderful crowd in here today, and hope everyone had a good break and is now ready to hear a little bit about my journey and what some of my experiences have been. Tammy and I had been talking about it, and she was like, hey, some of these parts would be really interesting to this audience. So, as Tammy said, I'm Sangeeta Ramakrishnan. I lead AI engineering teams in Cisco. My team builds AI applications. And one of the recent applications we launched is AI Canvas. It was launched at Cisco Live. If you're curious to learn more about it, do check it out on YouTube. There is a big launch video that we did along with Jeetu Patel, the president of Cisco. So you can learn a lot more about the technology and the work that's happening in my team there. So to share a little bit more about what my path was to this current role, like many of you, I have a bachelor's and master's in engineering. After my master's in electrical and computer engineering at UC Santa Barbara, I moved to Silicon Valley to work in various companies, a couple of startups. One went under, one got acquired by Cisco. So sort of the full range of experiences, Silicon Valley experiences. I'm sure some of you have experienced some of this too. I started out my career more in digital signal processing, image and video compression. JPEG, MPEG was new then. Things that we take for granted today. And also in vector quantization and data compression. Coming to Cisco, of course, the roles changed, technologies changed. It became much more networking focused. Focused on broadband technologies that many of you, I'm sure, rely on to connect at home. Those were some of the technologies that me and my team built. So in Cisco, I've spent my time in various organizations, technologies. All that is relatively common. What is perhaps a little bit more unique is I've gone back and forth between IC roles and management roles throughout my career. So at one point, I was leading a team of about 50 software developers, building broadband technologies, and then decided to switch into an IC role and started working for a Cisco fellow and pursued my IC career, became principal engineer, became distinguished engineer, filed a number of patents along the way, all of the good stuff about the IC senior technical track. So that particular transition, I just want to share a little bit. A lot of folks would view that as a step back. Oh, it's a step down. You were leading large teams. What are you doing? You're walking away from this, right? And I know many of you have taken breaks in your careers, so you have had the confidence to step away and do those types of things. A lot of it about whether you consider it a step back or how people treat you is quite a bit dependent on how you view it yourself. I didn't view it as a step back. I viewed it as this is what I want to do at this time in my life. My daughter was very young, and I just felt that this was a better role. And I've always been technical, so that was not a challenge to jump back into a technical role. So a lot of people take their cues from how we react to changes. So one advice I would share is, take it. If you take it positively, people around you will take it positively. If you choose to say like, oh my God, this is shameful, what am I doing here? People will react the same way. So that is one. And then and by the way, that was not the only time I've made that change. I've made that change a couple of times. And about 5 years ago, I moved back into people leadership roles in the cloud security space. Security was new to me, building cloud services back in a people leadership role versus in CTO teams and prototypes was a different experience. So I really wanted that. So it was a very small team. I took on that responsibility. But again, if you're capable and if the organization is growing, opportunities will come. So don't take every role that you take as this is defining me and this is going to be me doing this for 10 years, right? You're going to go there, do something, prove yourself, and work your way up from there. Then late last year, I decided to again walk away from my role. I was leading a team of about 150 developers. And then I walked away from that role and wanted a break. I'd never taken a break in my career, so I wanted a break. I took that break, I wanted to catch up on some personal things, did not have a new job lined up, and walked away. And then 6 months in, then I came back to Cisco in a different role in the AI engineering team. Again, this was a much smaller team, and I didn't care about the team size. That was not important to me. So it was more about the space. I was like, hey, this is an opportunity to work full-time in the AI space versus my previous role where that was maybe 10% of my role versus here, the entire org is focused on building AI applications. So a lot of these doors people tend to view as one-way doors, like, oh, I'm an IC, I moved to management, I will lose all my technical skills, I'll never be able to come back. No, that's not true. All of these are two-way doors. You can go and you can come back. And same thing, just because you move from management to IC one time in your life doesn't mean that you're going to be branded as someone who's running away from management you do not want. It depends on what the role is and what you need at that time in your life, and that's okay. I think the industry is actually pretty accepting of changes like this. That's sort of, at least that's been my lived experience. Now, coming to AI and how it's transforming the industry and why it's relevant to you all is two things. One is AI is here to stay, real this time, right? So might as well adapt to it. Second, a lot of generative AI is actually very new. So it actually helps level the playing field for many of you who've been out of the workplace perhaps for some time. Because yes, there are a small number of people who have worked in AI for decades, but if you're not trying to become an AI researcher, you're not competing with those folks for the positions. If you're looking for AI application development and things like that, most of those people doing that have picked up AI in the last 2 years, maybe 3. It's in that order of magnitude, right? So this is a great time. It's an early stage of this transformation in the industry. So this is a good time to actually jump into the space. And I'm not suggesting everybody here try to become an AI researcher or ML researcher, but the reality is AI is here to stay. So if you haven't yet started investing in using AI in your daily life, I would suggest, highly recommend that you start. So minimally, it doesn't matter what type of role you're looking for. I would say minimally be using AI in your daily life. It could be for planning, it could be researching companies, it could be trying to understand what does a particular title in this company mean. Try ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever your favorite app is, but please use it. You'll also get a sense of what it's good at, what it's not good at, and you'll get used to using it for all sorts of things and make your life simpler, whether it is for your travel planning or researching a new place you're going to or a company you're going to interview with. You will find value in that. Because not using AI today for day-to-day tasks is like not using internet search 25 years ago. I know many of you are young and don't know what that is, but just imagine a period when someone said, I don't use Google, or even the days before Google. I'm sure some of you remember those days, Yahoo search or whatever. So this is that kind of period. So please get used to using it daily, not as a special, I will do it one day for an interview prep. Because then you become a native user of AI at least. And this is for all roles. I don't care whether it's program management, product management, testing, anything, even in finance, comms, anything, you really need to be using the tools just to make yourself more efficient, right? And then when you're interviewing, you'd be able to pull from those experiences and talk about how you actually used it. And you might have seen some funny hallucination. That's fine to talk about. Then you're talking about a personal experience. Second, I would say Prompt engineering is something I highly recommend everybody to pick up, even if you're not going to be in a software dev role. Prompt engineering will teach you how to come up with better prompts in order to be more efficient in your use of AI. So highly recommend taking a prompt engineering course. And for those of you looking for courses, I personally like deeplearning.ai. Deeplearning.ai has courses that are usually only about 90 minutes long. Because I'm not a fan of investing 2 days in something unless I know it is worth investing my time. So this 90-minute thing is a great way to sample a number of different things. So even if you do just 1 or 2 a week, within a month you've learned a lot about many things, then you can choose what is most relevant to you and dive deeper. So they have prompt engineering classes, for example, that I know of. They're really good. That's what I use in my team, and that's what we use for many of our new hires also. The third thing I would say is build apps. Do vibe coding, especially if you're looking for software engineering, IC roles, quality, QA roles, looking for SRE, DevOps roles, software management roles, or any of those management roles, even product management roles. A lot of companies now expect product managers to build prototypes of their product. Yeah, they're not going to ship that, but they do want you to build prototypes. So highly recommend people use CodeGen tools if you haven't yet, whether it's Windsurf or Cursor. Many of them have free trials. Many of them have $20 per month pro packages. Pretty accessible for most of us to be able to go try it. Please use it, because when you go interview, you do want to show up as someone who is current with how the industry is operating today, and not how the industry was operating 3 or 4 years ago, right, or longer. So this is super key. And on top of it, if you're actually very focused on trying to get into an AI application kind of role, not only vibe code, but vibe code an AI application. Because you can build an application like simple use case might be to just build an application which says, hey, how do I, obviously Yelp exists, but you can build an application which does some Google search, finds restaurants, something like that, a prototype for whatever you want to do. But an AI application might be you build a chatbot for a particular thing, you use particular documentation. All companies' product documentation is out there, it's public. You could use whatever documents you want and build a little chatbot for it, see what it takes to build it. It need not be perfect, just the experience of building it. You will learn so much, you will have examples to speak about when you do an interview. I remember using Cursor, and finally I downloaded it at 11 p.m. one night during my break, and then by midnight, and I'd never used Cursor before, by midnight I had my basic prototype up. So don't think of this as 40 hours of work for several weeks to build basic prototypes. You can get going in a matter of hours today. So highly recommend that you consider all of these different levels of usage, because one, it'll make you more efficient at your work once you get back into the workplace or start a new role, whatever the case may be. But also it'll help you stand out during interviews as someone who is leaning into the new technologies and actually someone who is AI native and who has also built applications. I see nowadays a trend where a lot of folks, as part of their resume, are actually linking to the prototypes they've built or a blog about what they have built. So this is becoming very key, even for product management roles, design roles, even design UX research. Everybody is building these things. So I highly recommend that you invest the time to do it. It'll really make you stand out. Not everybody is doing it. We can tell when we're interviewing. Anyway, in closing, what I want to highlight is careers are not linear. They take twists and turns. Some twists and turns may be voluntary, where we have made the change. Some twists and turns may be turns that we did not want to take, like one startup went under that I was working at. I've been part of layoffs. I'm sure some of you have been part of those experiences. But, keep an open mind, be curious, be willing to take some risks and some chances, and explain to yourself why you're taking this role, even if it's not ideal, right? Oh, I'm taking this role. This seems a little bit lower than what I wanted, but hey, this helps me to learn about cloud SaaS services. This helps me to learn about security. Or I really want to transition into an SRE DevOps role, and this allows me to transition even if the leveling is not right. Because I'll go there, I'll learn, I'll prove myself, and then have confidence in yourself. You will find a way to get to where you want to get. And finally, stay curious. Stay curious and keep learning, because that is one of the big differentiators. Even when you start a job and you're in there, what we see is technology continues to change. This is not the last transition that's going to happen. Within AI, there are so many transitions within it. So be curious, keep learning, because that makes a big difference in the workplace as to who are the folks who are adaptable, who are learning, who have the drive to learn, and that makes a big difference in your careers. And finally, networking. You're all here. I hope you're all meeting each other besides the speakers and besides the talks, because you never know where those connections, when they'll come in handy. So thank you so much for being here, and thanks, Tammy, for having me.
Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you so much.